Okay, this is take 5. So, this assignment is going to be assignment 4.9, Economics in My World by Mackenzie Wiles. The title of my presentation is called The Economic Explanation for My Work and School Life Balance by me, Mackenzie Wiles. I started it off by saying I currently have a part-time position at Summit Credit Union while also going to school full-time. Both of these are very demanding activities. However, even in light of this, I still find myself accepting extra shifts. So, why do I do that knowing that I already have prior limitations? Well, realistically, the answer to this is if I didn't take those shifts, I would have a lot more free time. That's true. I would be able to get more head on schoolwork. I would have more time with friends and family. I would have much more free time. Knowing that, why do I continue choosing to work? This assignment is supposed to be based on what we actually observed, so over the past weeks, I've been paying attention to my schedule. What I've noticed over those days is that when I accepted the extra hours, I ended up with a higher benefit. This could mean increased pay, and that would be in comparison to the days where I allow myself more free time, of course. Once you take a look at this pattern and observe it closely, you can clearly understand that there's an economic explanation as to why I make this choice. If I have a busy schedule that causes me increased stress, then why do I keep continuing to work full time? Well, the main answer is opportunity cost, which is what I'm getting out of the situation, of course. In my situation, time is scarce. But the cost of choosing unpaid activity, in this case, rest or family or friends or study time, versus when I would accept a shift, I would lose out on income, even though I would have more leisure time. For example, if my hypothetical wage would be $15 an hour, the tax would reduce it to $12. That would be the take home. After 5 hours, that would mean I bring home about $60. If there was a bonus in there, we could maybe say $70. If I say no to that shift, $60, $70 would go away, but I would have more free time. On top of that, we would also need to take other things into consideration, like implicit or explicit costs, which would be gas, food, time, money, energy. I would be losing out on that. Of course, on an average week, that means that the benefits of working, or MB work, is usually greater than the marginal cost of working, or MC work. While the marginal benefit of attending an event is lower than the marginal cost, so the obvious choice would be to take the shift. Two major constants that drive my decision-making process is money and time. Time is always set at the same 24 hours, so that means that since I always have the same amount of time, I'm going to have to trade off what I want to do, leisure time or working, constantly making sacrifices. If I wanted to go to a campus event, those would provide a high marginal utility, but the more that you attend them, the more it's going to go down because you're repeating the same action. Whereas if you were to go to work, that stays a constant. It's always providing you with financial security and you don't have to worry about anything changing. You know what to expect. When comparing the two, though, if you look at a marginal analysis, the constant benefit of working, of course, outweighs the declining marginal utility, which is going down if you were to go to a work event. Utility maximization ties all this together. If you imagine the indifference curve, which is the comparison, I would choose the highest attainable indifference curve that touches my budget constraint. On the lower stress weeks, that might mean fewer hours worked, but on stress weeks where the bills pile up, budgeting mistakes happen, or there's financial uncertainty, benefit of working has a higher increase, so I would choose to do that. But if there was something more so like internship related or workshops or anything that would have a higher benefit to me, I might outweigh that and go to the third option, which is utilizing my utility maximization. Overall, you have to make a lot of sacrifices to get what you want, and in cases like this, attending the event of utility maximization would have a higher value to me, and that's why I would choose that. My choice to work while attending school full-time is not a habit, but an economic decision that is shaped by opportunity costs, marginal benefits versus marginal cost, utility maximization. When I consider all these factors as ordinary events, the result of MB work, MC work, when you take a look at that, that would explain why I say yes to the extra shifts. And when I find an opportunity has a higher expected return, I would switch, of course. That is why I'm choosing the option that maximizes my utility at the margin, which is what microeconomics predicts, and that's what we learned in our lesson.